Now we come to the last master class of the session, designing and articulating ROI with data and analytics. There is a huge amount of talk around data and analytics today, but it's also there's a method to the madness in terms of what you should do to ensure that the data works for you, how you can use this data to kind of provide you insights that helps you to hire quickly. To talk about this, I would call on stage Sandeep Varghese, our head of analytics and data, to come to the stage, please, along with KK from Cognizant.
I'm here to talk about how we use the data and analytics in larger firms, for the recruitment process as such. So as you know, data gives you clarity on the goal, as well as helps you assess where you are with respect to your goal and align yourself in achieving the goal. And analytics helps you to understand why you are reaching or not reaching your goal, right? So that's analytics or data without analytics is like having food without eating it, right? So for example, they told me that you have a set of questions. So there was a set of questions that they asked me to cover in this session. So that's like a goal to me, and that is the data I have, and I need to achieve that. But at the same time, without knowing that I will be standing in between you and your lunch, if I'm going to keep talking about it, then it's not going to be well taken, right? So now the analytics helps you in understanding how to achieve your goals, how to go about it, and in what way to go about it, right? So from that standpoint, I'll just cover on few data and metrics that we are using in the talent acquisition landscape, and how it is used in the decision making process as such. So the data is all over, right? So we don't have to go for collection of data especially separately in the talent acquisition process. The process is so intensive in human interactions or the process interactions that you get to collect data without you even wanting it. So with tons and tons of data that's all around, and with the AI coming in and a lot of new age technologies coming in, now how we are using this data is going to be the main answer that we need to go for. So so if you see from as recruiters, we start with the planning inputs. Any season starting, whether it is the year, it is the month or quarter, right? So you start with the planning input. That is data for us. How many hires to go is what all recruiters get to from their bosses as such. But what has gone well or not well in the previous season, unless you have that analytics on top of it built in, and then you approach it in a way that what is important for you? Is it the volumes? Is it the quality of hires? Is it the time that you get to for achieving the revenues? So you need to have a view of that so that you can use the planning data better, and that is top down. So you always get the planning input top down, but you have to correlate one data with another so that you get more insights out of it. So when you have the demand planning inputs that is given to you, how will you correlate with what is happening on the field as such? So you get a lot of requisitions from your field managers. Let's say you need to hire 10 CSMs, but you get 50 requisitions from different teams, or you think it is 50, but it is actually one requisition or two requisition, right? So it gets kind of multiplicated when it passes on from one level of the hierarchy to another level of the hierarchy as well. So you need to first understand what is coming bottom up from the demand perspective, and how it aligns to your target as such, so that you understand what to go for. Now, major problem that we have in talent acquisition is that we don't know what to recruit for, meaning what is the job description, how many numbers, right? So that is always inflated, and many times when you start hiring in big organizations, right? So when you start the hiring process, you get some fulfillments happening within as well, because there is somewhere somebody else is having another candidate, and they get they fulfill the requirement as such. So what you go for has to be understood from a demand segmentation perspective. If you have, in the same example, right, if you have 50 requisitions, really how many should I go for, in what time frame, and in what ways, right? So that needs to be thought about and taken forward. And the second, the next one is the talent demographics as such. See, when we bring in people from outside, how they stick inside, how they assimilate themselves inside the organization in the past from different channels, right? That's one of the key inputs that we need to have. For example, you hire from a certain set of competitors or companies that you think is best suited for the role, but if they don't gel well inside your company, now without insight into that, if you keep on hiring in the same channel or with the same source, now you will keep on backfilling because they may not stick with you in the long run as well. So you need to have an understanding of how the internal talent demographics are working well, and you may set out for hiring certain skills where the benches are already filling in, right? So if that is the case, you need to take action to stop your hiring process in the right time frames, so that you don't damage your the engagement with the candidates that can be looked for in a longer period of time. Then you need to have an understanding of the talent outflow. Now certain skilled people may be not very happy with the organization. When I say organization, not necessarily a company as such, but a team is also an organization in that perspective, right? So why they are going out and for what they are going out. So there is tons of analysis that is available in the market. A lot of people are helping organizations with insights from the market as such on the talent outflow, why they go, what is the here again, if comp is the major reason, then what is the standard that's available in the market. So you get to understand a lot of such inputs from those kind of partners, and you can use it well for your decision making as such. And this is so far we talked about how you can shape up your demand, have clarity on the demand, on what to go for and what not to go for, and then you have supply side data and analytics, right? So you have a lot of people visiting your company career site or the job portals that you work with. You may have sites in different job boards, and your every single job is going to be your window to reach out. Now how many visitors are coming? Are they reading? How much time they are spending on your job descriptions? And are you getting the right set of people for those job descriptions as such, right? And are the visitors applying, or if not applying, why they are not applying? So there is a lot of science and tools available on the visitor and applicants data, and so this is very important. I think throughout the session a lot of speakers touched about the applicant analysis and how to approach the population as such. So again, this is a critical data you use day in and day out as recruiters to do your decision making. And then of course the market intelligence or talent mobility, where people of one stream are moving towards, what are the emerging cities or emerging hubs of skills that are emerging in each of the geography. So, and the business actually comes to, the recruitment team for consulting on how should I sell or where should I sell as well, where to set up my, delivery centers offshore or on site, right? So these kind of questions keep coming to the recruitment teams, and there is a lot of data available there within the company or in the market, where you can attract talent in, and you advise your business according to that. And of course, the matching and fitment analysis, you don't have to talk about it, right? So it's already talked about it in multiple places. So this is the core of the talent acquisition as such, and you have a lot of algorithms, AI-based algorithms, and coming up, and some of them are doing really good in the how to predict the fitment of a particular candidate to a particular geography, job, or the geography versus the skill, or how to structure your job descriptions in a way that you can attract more matches or fitments. So a lot of things are available in that area. And then of course your hiring performance metrics, you can't take eyes off your the BAU, however mundane it is, the basics have to be met in place. Otherwise, although you may have, a lot of new age technologies, new age processes, the engagement going on, you need to move, the process from one step to another, and the hiring performance metrics is paramount in monitoring that you are meeting your targets. And these data are available to you in a very generic fashion. Now, how you correlate one with other, for example, bench analysis against hiring, right? So, I mean, as recruiters, many times that they don't see that, right? So their focus is only on hiring, whereas if the bench is building on one side, then you have to take call to stop it. So the overall use of the data and analytics is to help with the easier and focused decision making, so that you don't make the mistakes, or at least the same mistakes again, right? So, and for that you need to apply the analytics in each of the milestones. I've just called out few of this, how you distribute the data, what are the channels, even if you are going for job boards. Now, what is the best job board for a particular skill or for a particular location, right? So you need to make your decisions based on the data that is available. The error or the tolerance for the errors are becoming lower and lower. And when we are talking about insta hiring, now you don't have the luxury to do a gut feel and make mistakes and then do all over again. So when you have data, you learn from the mistakes of others, right? So and then market aligned job descriptions, targeted campaigns. I mean, these are like pretty straightforward, where you apply so that you get the return for your investments on your effort, as well as dollars that you spend in the analytics piece. I've just called out the metrics that that is used in multiple corporations to measure whether we are in the right direction with respect to meeting the target for the hiring as such, right? So now you always have a way of understanding internal staffing preparedness versus hiring. This is because how much you are hiring proactively versus reactively, right? So, and are you loading, if you know that, you are going to have the skill requirement throughout the year, now how are you building the warm pools without even adding to the internal staffing, and, have it outside your company's, budgeting realm, and although, you can secure that for your need when it comes to. And then, of course, the volume versus target that you agree to, and what channels that you are hiring from, fresher or the lateral. Of course, the time to fulfill from, this is, from the demand perspective as well as from the supply perspective, right? So from a demand perspective, when a job gets created to when you take it, when you make the decision, to go for example, if you are going to go to a job board A, B, C, or you are going to use the internal referral channel, or if you are going to use a particular vendor, and, of course, you would have thought through what vendor, what kind of vendor suit for different kinds of the skill needs that you have in an organization, right? So from a to the decision making, to when you get the profile, when you submit the first profile or multiple profiles to your hiring managers, and then when they come back, with the shortlisting and the overall process as such. Same thing from a candidate perspective as well, right? So when you first start engaging with the candidate, to the time, you make a decision that he may not fit your organization now or forever, and you take him off your list, or you, take him through the interview process, or you put him on hold for future needs as well. And in that case, how are you keeping the engagement, online in a continuous basis, so that, it helps you with insta hiring for some other requirement as such, right? So, now, unless you measure the time to fill and why we are missing out, or we are good in certain milestones, then you can't, improve on your efficiencies in the longer run. And then the cost of hire, I think that is a paramount, right? So insta hiring at what cost is always, a question that your CFO will ask, right? So I can get a person tomorrow, but it will cost 150%, or I have to give a lot of vendor fee, right? So if that is the case, why would you go there? Or now, if you are going for, maybe first time you can go, but are you building enough interventions in place so that, next time overall cost of hire can be reduced, right? So that is the paramount metric that you will always have in mind when you go through the entire hiring process as such. And of course, sub part of it is, whether you are hiring within the role, or how much more you are paying, not only from a comp perspective, but from a role perspective as well. Are you eroding your pyramid within the organization by, hiring at wrong levels? Or you are making the existing team unhappy by giving the new members too high, right? Now, you are going to lose a lot of people in your organization if, you are not giving importance to that. And of course, the recruiter efficiency, is measured, and the efficiency and quality part of it as well, right? So how much you are having, you have to interview per demand fulfillment, and how many candidates that you have to see, for one fulfillment. That is going to be a measurement that you will always have in mind. And I think, the center one is the crux that is coming in recent times as well. How was the experience? And because of the experience, maybe, not, you are the best player in the industry, but still candidates may not come and join you. Maybe because, the first interaction with the organization is not good, the experience is not good, then even though you may have great, after they come in, they might have realized, but you have lost the candidate, right? So you should always have that. Of course, the data for experience is varied, right? So you can always ask the candidate whether you liked our process or not, but every single conversation that you are having with the candidate, they are giving you a lot of data for you to assess, analyze, and come up with your experience score in whatever way you want to. We always talk about the candidates. The hiring manager experience, is also as important as a candidate, because if one hiring manager is not happy, he's going to also, distract 10 other candidates that he's interviewing. So for an organization brand, you need to have the hiring manager experience in the overall recruitment process measured, monitored, and right intervention has to be brought in there as well. Of course, the diversity of hiring is a major metric that is getting measured in multiple organizations now, and a lot of interventions are brought from the beginning of the recruitment life cycle, so that we can achieve the targets that whatever is set for the organization. And of course, effectiveness of the hire is the greatest return on investment for the quality of hire that we are doing. How far they are sticking, and how far they are billed, and they are bringing in revenue to the organization as such, right? So these are some of the data, analytics, and the decisions that can be brought in together, so that you get a better ROI for the recruitment process as such, and then you can continuously have improvement in the process, in the efficiencies, and then bring in a better employer brand as well. So in short, right? So you use this data no point in seeing data in silos, right? So you need to look at data in multi-dimensional data in correlation with each other, how one is pulling up or pulling down, and the simpler the process is, the better the data will be, right? So because your data or analytics is will be as accurate as the kind of data that you are collecting from the process. And unless the process is simple, people may sometimes, just not give the right inputs, and in order to just skip these steps, you may lose the critical inputs from the candidates or for the hiring manager. So the simpler processes, and you correlate with the intrinsic behavior data that you are already having in your the ATS or in other systems that you are integrating with your ATS as such, and investing in the right tool for the right role for better decision making. Using the analytics is the key. Otherwise, as I said, right, so without doing analytics, data is of no use, and without using the analytics for decision making, for improving your overall ROI, right? So that is the main thing that we need to look for, and that cannot be possible unless you look at the tools to do distributed decision making. So, Rajiv talked about the RAR as such. In the remote, right, distributed decision making is the key as well, because one person cannot sit and make all the decisions looking at all the data. So how simple you make your analytics and how you encapsulate it into each and every recruiter's mobile or desktop, so that they can decide for themselves to go for the hire or not go for the hire. It's all about that, right? And if every recruiter is enabled and they are making the right decisions, you as an organization will always be right? So that's what I wanted to cover today.